the mystery begins. Then, in 1898, a farmer in Minnesota unearthed a massive stone with strange carvings. To his immigrant community, it was immediately seen as proof that Vikings had reached America centuries before Columbus. It was a thrilling idea, a chance to rewrite history and honor ancestral pride in their new homeland. Now, today, that same stone is one of the most hotly debated artifacts in North America. To some, it remains a tantalizing link to Norse exploration. To others, it is nothing more than an elaborate hoax. The truth, more than 120 years later, is still unsettled, which only makes the mystery more captivating and powerful for historians, locals, and mystery seekers alike. The discovery. Then, Olaf Oman and his son struck the stone while clearing land. Pulling it from the roots of a tree, they saw mysterious runes covering its surface. The stone told of Scandinavian explorers traveling far inland in 1362, and of deadly losses they suffered. To immigrants, it felt like uncovering buried ancestral history written on American soil. Now, today, scholars wonder whether Oman himself could have carved the stone. Critics note how convenient the find was, raising suspicions of a staged discovery. Yet, geologists argue the weathering looks centuries old, challenging that claim. The discovery moment remains the foundation of both faith and doubt, a dramatic crossroads between the thrill of revelation and the suspicion of trickery. First reactions. Then, to Minnesota's Scandinavian immigrants, the stone was a triumph. Newspapers declared it possible proof that their ancestors were America's first explorers. It became a source of cultural pride, fueling parades, lectures, and gatherings that celebrated a new link between homeland and adopted country. Now, academic experts quickly dismissed it. Linguists claimed the runes looked too modern, and historians labeled it a forgery created by local hands. The immediate clash between local excitement and scholarly doubt set the stage for a century-long debate, where every new claim or counterclaim only deepened the cultural divide between believers and skeptics. Vikings in America. Then, the runestone seemed to confirm Old Norse sagas about voyages beyond Greenland. It suggested not just coastal landings, but deep exploration into North America. Minnesota could now be part of Viking history, rewriting maps of exploration and linking rural America to medieval Scandinavian adventure. Now, while archaeological evidence has proven Viking settlements in Newfoundland, no accepted proof exists of Norse journeys so far inland. Mainstream historians see the runestone as an outlier, too good to be true. It sits outside established timelines, leaving it trapped between bold possibility and suspicious invention, fueling endless speculation about what the Vikings truly achieved. A questioned artifact. Then, early translations spoke of explorers attacked by native people, leaving the stone as a record of tragedy. Many locals believed every word, imagining long-forgotten battles on Minnesota soil. It became less an artifact and more a sacred story linking two very different worlds. Now, linguists argue the language fits 19th century Swedish more than medieval Norse. They see it as a product of immigrant nostalgia, not Viking survival. But new runic comparisons keep the door cracked open. Could the skeptics have underestimated how language evolved in distant Scandinavian communities? That lingering doubt keeps researchers returning to the stone again and again. The hoax accusation. Then, by the 1920s, most academics agreed the stone was fake. They believed Oman or a prankster had carved it, using runes copied from books. The stone was dismissed from serious study, mocked in lectures, and shelved as a curiosity rather than a breakthrough. Now, the hoax theory still dominates, yet no motive or carver has ever been proven. If it was a prank, why bury it beneath a tree where it might never be found? If it was fame Oman sought, why never profit directly? The unanswered questions keep skeptics cautious, leaving the hoax theory compelling but incomplete. New investigations. Then, for decades, the runestone languished in ridicule, dismissed by experts. Believers were mocked for clinging to folk history. For many, even discussing the stone threatened one's academic reputation. Now, modern geology and rune studies complicate the picture. Some claim erosion shows age consistent with the 14th century. Others point to rune forms discovered in authentic medieval texts after the stone's discovery. These findings give believers new ammunition, suggesting the possibility that Omen could not have faked detail scholars only learned decades later. A symbol of heritage. Then, for Scandinavian settlers, the stone validated their place in America. It was history carved in stone, linking their roots to exploration and bravery. Festivals, songs, and church gatherings elevated the stone as proof of cultural strength and belonging. Now, the runestone has become a cultural symbol, regardless of authenticity. Minnesota towns host festivals, sell souvenirs, and tell stories inspired by it. For many, it doesn't need to be true. It represents identity. The runestone stands as folklore, history, and heritage combined, proving that sometimes belief matters more than certainty. The skeptics' view. Then, dismissal came swiftly from linguists who declared, "This is not medieval Norse." The hoax label stuck fast, coloring every future debate. The runestone was ridiculed in academic circles, even when locals embraced it passionately. Now, skeptics remain firm. They see every defense as wishful thinking. To them, the stone reflects 19th century immigrant culture more than 14th century exploration. Still, they cannot erase its grip on imagination. The more people question it, the more the story endures, making skepticism itself part of the legend surrounding the runestone. The believer's view. Then, supporters pointed to sagas describing voyages west. To them, the runestone was simply another piece of that puzzle, carved by weary survivors deep in America. Now, believers cite geology, rune evidence, and even native oral traditions as possible support. For them, the runestone is a tantalizing, though contested, piece of a bigger story about forgotten explorers. Each unanswered question feels like a hint, not a dismissal, strengthening the faith of those who see the stone as authentic history. Modern relevance then. To immigrants in the 1890s, the stone symbolized belonging. Their ancestors hadn't just joined America. They had discovered it first. It was both proof and pride. Now, the debate reflects bigger questions. Who gets to write history? Do artifacts shape identity even if their origins are disputed? The runestone stands as a cultural mirror, reflecting both hope and skepticism. Whether authentic or fake, it has sparked research, imagination, and dialogue, proving its value as more than just carved stone. The enduring mystery. Then, the stone was hailed as one of the greatest archaeological finds of its time, rewriting history and inspiring cultural celebrations across Minnesota. Now, over 120 years later, it remains unsolved. Real or fake, it has become legend. The Kensington Runestone is no longer just about Vikings. It's about how mysteries survive when answers refuse to come. Thank you for watching AR Mystery Hub. Subscribe for more journeys into history's enigmas, and let us know in the comments. Do you think the Kensington Runestone is history or hoax?